Guys, welcome to this What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of Food for Thought, where I and some of my buddies talk about different philosophical things that have happened over the past week. I'll be doing this every Friday. So, here we go. I don't have any friends with me as it is summer, and no one is ever around during the summer months for some odd reason. So, this week's topic, a little touchy. I'd like to really keep the comments down below, not really. I really wouldn't want to activate comments, but I don't want to act like a douchebag. But my whole deal with this subject is that it tends to cause a lot of problems, as is pseudo-religious and pseudo-political. Basically meaning that it's not really either of those things, but it really is. Hard to explain. It has to do with politics and religion, both. If you haven't already guessed, what I'm going to be talking about is the gay rights thing. Over this past week, a couple of victories for the LGBT. I can't even finish that. I know I just probably screwed that up, but whatever. For that whole lesbian, gay, transgender, all that, all those people, there have been a lot of two specific victories for them. One, DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, was completely annihilated by the Supreme Court. They deemed it unconstitutional. Now, in the sense of Prop 8, which is the other thing they deemed semi-unconstitutional, Prop 8 was struck down by way of just saying the governor didn't defend it. So there was no defense. I mean, essentially what they said was there's no way. The first court deemed it, the first suit deemed it unconstitutional, but it didn't go through. And so they basically said, you can't screw with that. So, here we go. Now, I don't have an opinion either way on this subject. And the reason I don't have an opinion either way on this subject is because, in all honesty, live and let live. Whether or not we allow it or not, people are going to be gay. There are going to be some people that are gay. And you can't avoid that. You can't just say, oh, let's fix them. There is no fixing that. If anything, what you'll be doing is humiliating these people. If anything, what you'll be doing is making their lives just terrible by trying to fix them. So, my whole thing with this entire deal is you can't take away a right that the rest of the fucking world has. I mean, for God's sake, everybody else but gays and lesbians can marry. Yeah, that's really fair. No, I get it. Politics ain't about fairness. You could say that to me all day frickin' long, but here's the thing. The people run our government. The people should run our government. And literally, the whole opinion on this is shifting so quickly. I mean, the Supreme Court, which is mostly conservative, just said it's unconstitutional. That's a surprising thing. That I was literally, and I'm not religious, I was praying that they would do that, because I didn't believe that they had the guts to go and deny their own party. I honestly thought we would be having a rerun of the first decision on Prop 8. We'd be having a rerun on DOMA. You know, even just the title, the Defense of Marriage Act, is just bad. Defense of marriage? Really? So you're trying to force... And so here's my issue with the whole gay thing. The gay rights, the opposite side of it, is this. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Well, that's in the opinion of the Bible. It's not in the opinion of the law. The law does not have to conform to a specific religion. And yeah, a lot of religions think it's wrong, but there are a lot of them still that don't give a crap. They don't care. You know, there should not be one single dominating factor, and that is religion. And if you dominate the government with religion, we turn out just like in a Middle Eastern country that for some odd reason these people say they hate so much, but then they elect people in that want to just control the government through religion, and you can't do that. That was exactly why separation of church and state was put in place, to not just protect the government from the church, but to protect the church from the government. It goes both ways. To protect the reason that you separate church and state is, okay, let's just give an example here. We have a signifying one religion country now, okay? Let's just imagine that idea, that concept put into America. Now, that all being said, so we enforce a religion. Then you have ideologies starting to screw with our government. Now, let's look at the flip side of that. Let's say that the government says, no, you're not going to be doing the things that you want to do. And, you know, you look at like other religions and they're just struck down. So it goes both ways. It protects both parties. Both ideas, both concepts are now protected under separation of church and state, and it's why we need to separate it. We cannot say, oh, yeah, let's just fuck with our regular system. Can't do that. But, you know, I just kind of look at it, I kind of find it really stupid that people, you know, legal minds, people in the law system of the law do not believe that this is correct. And they will, and you know, you study law for years and years and years, and then you come to the conclusion that religion is okay to be in the government. That's, a lot of those people in Congress have studied law. They have to, really, not really. There's really no qualification studying law to be in Congress, but most of them are, at least have been lawyers at one point. So, that being said, it's ridiculous to say, oh yeah, I don't understand that concept. Yes, you do. You have to. You know, you can't study something. Well, okay, you can, but you can just. People are ridiculous. Yeah, bunch of people walking by. Yeah, you can't study law and then say to yourself, oh, I'm just gonna completely ignore everything that was just taught to me. Well, you can. Well, obviously you can, because people have done it. People completely ignore and say the belief system is more important than the law. And that's a problem. That is a major problem within our government that needs to be stamped out. Because if it isn't, we're going to be seeing a one religion government soon. Very soon. If we don't stamp out this problem of religion and government kind of mixing. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that religion has some play in our government. Of course it's a good thing that ideologies sometimes have play. But if you sit down and that's all you care about, your ideology and not anybody else's, that's when you start having an issue. Because our government was made, you know, you look at people that say, oh, our founding fathers were Christian. No, they weren't. They were deists. All of them were deists, almost. Deism is a form of agnosticism, basically, at its most basic form. Deism just says, I believe in a God, but just not any God that is of a religion. So, you know, deism is complicated as hell, religion, and I'm actually surprised to find out that most of them are deists, or were deists when they were alive. And so, when people say George Washington mentioned God and Christ and all these other religious names in his speech, he didn't. You go look up the regular speech, and I'll be having links to stuff like this down below on the description. But all I'm just saying is there's too many issues, and this is where our problems start. This is where we start to ignore the things that were put in place. This is where we start to ignore what our founding fathers wanted, and this is where we start to ignore that people have freedoms beyond what we see. As a country, we don't see it. We don't believe, anymore. I believe that we've lost. We've lost. We came in the running pretty high up there. But, we've lost. When it becomes such a debate over whether a person has a right, when everybody else has this right except for a single group, it's wrong. It's so wrong. It's not even funny. And so when I saw the ruling the other day, I was very happy. I'm not gay. Alright, I'm straight, so that's not why I'm happy. I'm happy because people just stopped being... There was a decision that stopped a form of discrimination. I know gay people, I know lesbians, I know transgender people, and that's no lie. I've got 2 friends that are undergoing hormone treatment. So, the whole deal with all this crap is that you can't force something onto somebody else. Because if you try and you succeed, what have you just done? You have changed a person, not for the better, because all you're doing is shaping what you want them to see. For some people, that's a victory. For me, I leave people alone as much as I can. I like to hear people's opinions, but I don't try and force opinions onto other people through law, through saying this is how it works, and that's what Congress does. They force it on people through law, and that is wrong. I'm going to end it here. I'd like to hear people's opinions. Comment down below. Doesn't matter. Whatever you have to say, whatever questions you may have on my opinions, I will gladly answer them. As long as they're asked in a mature manner. A mature filled with thought manner. Now, the thought of the day, this is why I call it food for thought, is this. If we didn't have religion, would we be happier? Let me know. Alright. Well, there's going to be a couple links to some stuff my friends have done down below. One of them is called Shed News. Go check that out. I am Legacy on that site. So, that's my tag whenever things pop up. So I'm Legacy. I've got a couple really good friends on there. So please do us a favor. Go to the site if you like the stuff. Do what you can to help us. I believe there's a donate button up there now. We also do photography and multiple other different assortments of things. So that link will be down in the description. Have a nice day, people. Have a great time. And remember, think for yourself.